take yourself back 3 or 4 weeks ago, or at the beginning of this Illinois game, because that's what it seems like. Remember the opening drive of this game, and you watched, and the Illini marched down the field, and it felt like, oh my God, they're going to destroy us and everything. Did you burn all your Nebraska gear? Did you destroy all your condiments and your popcorn and everything? Because it really was reminiscent of one of those Fanville commercials where, you know, the guy at the end, who is it, Brian Bosworth, points out, guys, it was just the first play of the game. And Nebraska's defense stood tall at the end of that scripted drive by the Illini, held them out of the end zone, and away we went on a scoring manifesto. This was a long game. Didn't it seem like a really, really long game where both teams tried to not win? Now that I've said that, it's a 20-7 win for Nebraska over Illinois, and it's a win that I think that everybody who is a Nebraska fan looked at this game and said, we have to win this game. And I, as a guy that does these videos and stuff, I looked at it and said, we have to win this game for 2 reasons. Number 1, to keep our bowl hopes alive. And number 2, because I know that if we would have lost, probably 90% of you wouldn't have bothered watching for the rest of the season. Maybe not 90, but a lot. You know, and as a guy who likes doing this stuff and likes getting views, that's important. It's not important as a win. And it is a win. You know, that's the thing. It's a win, and we needed it, and now Nebraska moves to 3-3, which sounds a hell of a lot better than 2-4. Was it rough? Yeah, it's rough. Our offense is rough, and that's probably being kind. You know, I will say this, and you can comment on this, and I hope you do. There was no point, as bad as this felt, and you felt like, oh God, this is going to slip away from us, and this is going to fall apart like all the other games we've seen like this. But there was no point in this game that Illinois had a chance to win this game, because Nebraska's defense was playing that well. Did we give up some yardage? Yeah, let's see. We gave up 310 yards to them, 289 passing yards, 21 rushing yards. And, you know, we rushed 3, they'd make a play. We rushed 3, they make a play. But at the same time, you know, as you especially saw that toward the end of the game when you're like, God, please finish this thing so it doesn't collapse and I don't have to feel horrible. And we did. But at the same time, there was never a point in this game that Illinois was a real threat to win it. They had one big play that scored a touchdown in this game, and that's pretty much it. Now, was it ugly for Nebraska? Yeah, it was ugly for Nebraska. We'd had 10 penalties for 70 yards, way too many false starts. We finished 3 drives in a row with turnovers, and then, you know, Illinois played their part in turning the ball back over to us. Average yards per rush for Nebraska, 3.2. Not very good. That's being nice. On the other hand, I mean, Illinois had 21 entire rushing yards. So, was it right? It was tough. The offense was tough. And it was tough. You lost Marcus Washington. And, you know, how long is he going to be out? And then, you know, Anthony Grant went down for a bit. And you're kind of like, oh, my God, how long is that guy going to be out? And then he came back, thank God. But you're really looking at a team that's trying to run an offense with their starting quarterback injured, 2 of their top 3 running backs injured. I don't know how many wide receivers are injured. I'm not saying that it would have been a juggernaut if we wouldn't have lost these players, but it certainly isn't helping to lose them. And I know probably people are like pissed off at Marcus Satterfield, and he's not a very good offensive coordinator, but, you know, we got to win. We wrapped up 310 yards. Pretty even split, 154 passing, 158 rushing. You know, Heinrich Harburg was a little rough throwing the ball, but he was 12 for 24, 154 yards, 1 interception, the one where, quite frankly, I thought we should have ran a draw and punted the ball back to him and ran more clock, because, God, I think at that point I was getting dehydrated. Could you be upset about this game? Yeah, you could, but it's a win. And I don't really see the point of being angry about it. If you're one of those people and you're one of those people that's like, oh my God, what happens when this happens in the future? Don't do that. Enjoy this moment. We have a bye week now. Just enjoy the moment that it was a win. You can complain plenty about it, but it was a win. And it was a win over another Big Ten West team, and it was Big Ten West football, which is ugly by nature. And if you think, well, we're never going to win a lot of games like this with an offense like that, well, we have a defense like that too. And the defense is, honestly, pretty good. Did they give up some plays? Yeah, they gave up one big play. They gave up some yards? Yeah, they gave up some yards. But is it good enough to still meet the goal of getting to a bowl game? Well, we're going to see that for the rest of the season. We're going to watch and find out what happens next, like a clickbait title. Man, I felt like I was getting dehydrated. I think my wife sat down and crocheted like 4 entire blankets. You know, I got a text from my nephew that said he's like 21, and he texted me and said, I've had 3 kids during this game. And that's really what it felt like. It felt like it lasted forever, and both teams didn't want to win. Certainly, there's a lot to work on. I felt like Matt Rule didn't lick his tongue enough. I only saw him a couple times, and maybe if he'd work harder at doing that, the offense would get better, because that's what it seemed like in the past. Emmett Johnson got 7 attempts for 29 yards. He had a fumble, but it was good to see him get some carries, because I think that's necessary going forward. My God, whoever we can get to contribute on offense is definitely going to be an asset moving forward. You know, a lot of the bizarre thing, a lot of the calls went Nebraska's game, particularly early. Even at the last pass where they had the 4th and 2, they probably could have called interference and extended that, and we would all aged another 30 years. Let's see what else. What else was there? What comments do you guys have? Do you feel good about this? What positives do you see? There's obvious negatives, but what positives does it make you feel better about moving forward with the rest of the season and getting to a bowl game? Whew, I am shot. This was exhausting. I could make more jokes about how long this game was, but I think we'll end there. And remember, it was a win, 3-3, better than 2-4, and let's feel good this week. And then tomorrow, you know, it's Saturday. We get to watch other people lose, and we can make fun of them. And I enjoy that immensely. All right. Thank you for your support. Subscribe, tell your friends. Go to cobbycorn.com and pick up a t-shirt. I've actually put out some t-shirts with Run the Ball and stuff like that on them. That's it. Thank you. Go Big Red.